Deepwoken PvE sucks is probably something a lot of you guys have said while playing Deepwoken. And honestly, I can't blame you. Deepwoken PvE, while it's in a league of its own compared to most other Roblox games. No glaze, by the way. It still suffers from a few shortcomings that could probably be easily fixed, and that's what I'm going to be going over in this video. So I feel like with some slight changes and new additions to already existing bosses, Deepwoken PvE could actually be something you look forward to and have fun doing, by the way, because it definitely has the potential. Now enough of the yap, let's get into the video. So, you see how I'm fighting Duke, right? All the first phase of Duke, if you've already fought him, you probably have if you're watching this video, you know that it's literally just parry trading. And I feel like this is really just, it's just subpar game design because it's just boring. Why am I just sitting there parry trading with a standstill NPC? And with all the lore of Deepwoken, it's really like disappointing that a lot of the bosses, like if you read about them in, journals or item descriptions, you see that they have like a lot of like hidden ability, well not hidden, but generally just lesser known abilities of characters. Like Duke Aricia, I'm pretty sure he's able to make golems from scratch. Like that's why there's golems guarding his dungeon, is because he's able to make golems himself. Which it could actually, that could be like a really cool idea. It could tie into his boss fight, right? So imagine this: you're fighting Duke, right? And let's imagine he had like a second phase. Like after you get him down to like half HP, he'll become invincible for a second, right? He'll cover himself in Gale, like he'll go back into like his first phase. And he'll fly up. He'll use Gale to levitate. And then while he's in the air, he'll say something corny like, I must admit, you're pretty strong, but I've already said you aren't leaving here alive. And then he'll use his resonance, right? Because his bell is actually the way he creates golems. So he'll use his bell, you'll hear the bell sound effect, right? And then all of a sudden the whole screen just starts shaking. You're like, whoa, what's happening? And then you see out of the ground like a huge golem, like like his strongest golem yet, just comes out of the ground. It's just being made right in front of your face. And he says, I hope you prepare to die, or some whatever like that. I don't know. And then after you kill the golem, Duke will be in rage mode because he's already at half HP. Basically, something like rage mode, something basic like he just does more damage. He uses a different moveset, and something like that. Something simple. You still want to keep Duke easy because, well, not easy, but you want to make him the easiest boss in the game because he's the boss that most new players fight, so you don't want him to be too strong, you know. But I think it would just be really cool if bosses were made more difficult by just like adding more of their lore to the boss fight. It would just be like a little fun way to make the boss a bit more challenging, you know. Because I feel like the main reason people are disappointed with PvE right now, well, not disappointed, but like bored of it, is because bosses are just like really boring. Like Deepwoken's weakest point is probably its bosses, because bosses in this game, it's either just M1 parry trade or run around, destroy certain object, wait until the boss is vulnerable, and then just start hitting him and then repeat. It's just a really crappy gameplay loop, and it's really repetitive, and I don't think anyone actually enjoys it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like PvE, but I can definitely understand why people think it's boring. I think we've just gotten to a point as a community where most of the bosses, they just need to get changed, because most of the bosses from release have not changed in any way, shape, or form. Like Etheron and Chaser, no new moves, no new anything, it's just the same stuff. I feel like to make PvE more interesting, the developers should go over and like revamp and rework the bosses that already exist, and keep in mind the lore for the future bosses that they make as well. And then make it so that bosses aren't just freaking parry trade, M1 parry trade, or walk around, interact with object, make boss vulnerable, attack it, repeat. It's just really sad how crazy the Deepwoken lore is just for all the boss fights to just be so dull and repetitive and uninteresting. I always have this issue with Deepwoken where it's always just so much missed potential. Like, all the bosses have a chance to be great. Like, all the bosses in the game have crazy lore behind them. Well, not crazy, but like, they have some pretty decent lore behind them that would actually explain a lot of their attacks. And it's like, they could be such cool bosses if they just get the attention they deserve, bro. Which brings me to my next point. They finally did PvE right, bro. My man Maestro. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Everything about this boss fight is just, well, not everything, but like 90% of this boss fight is pretty damn good, you gotta admit. I mean, besides him using Ghost and then ankle cuttering you directly out of Ghost when he still has iframes, or him stacking moves with Vent, so you literally can't see the animation. You know, there's bugs, man. It's to be expected. It's still kinda new, and you know how devs don't. They take like years to fix bugs, bro. But it is what it is, man. But besides that, Maestro is a good boss because if you couldn't tell, Deepwoken was inspired by none other than Dark Souls. And this boss fight is inspired by, or not inspired by, but it was intentionally designed to fight more like a Dark Souls fight. It's funny because despite Deepwoken being a Dark Souls inspired game, a lot of the boss fights, you'd never even guess the game was inspired by Dark Souls because it's literally just mantra spam most of the time. Even if you're not even like a mantra spam build, the quickest way to kill most bosses, besides like Prim or something, is just spamming mantras, dude. You could still cheese Maestro with, like, I remember I saw a video on YouTube of some guy literally killing Maestro in 15 seconds with Shadowcast who was just spamming mantras. But I don't know, I feel like they should add some sort of mantra resistance to bosses to like stop that cheese or something. But Maestro, he has Gale and he has a World Without Song, so he'll suffocate you and silence you, so you can't spam mantras if you get hit by one of his mantras. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I feel like the devs were experimenting with Maestro though, because we've never seen anything like this in Deepwoken before. This is like a genuine Dark Souls inspired boss. Like the way he's just pure M1s for the most part, and then he does his slash attack, his three-parter, the one where the first two are parryable, the last hit is unparryable, and then what's it called? I mean, that's really it, honestly. That's probably the best attack pattern in the game right now. We need more attack patterns like that where 1, 2 parryable, and then 3 unparryable. Not in that exact order, obviously, but like more attacks or more multi-hits from enemies where a certain hit or a certain amount of hits might be parryable, but then one hit is unparryable, and then the next is parryable or dodgeable. You know, cool stuff like that that actually requires you to be on guard, focus in when the enemy is attacking you. Like I said, you can still cheese Maestro with certain builds, but next boss, like Maestro, I definitely want him to have more mantra resistance so he could like not get cheesed by mage builds and not die in 15 seconds to like mantra spam builds. But right now, Maestro, he's in a really good spot because not only is he just like a really unique boss in game, as he has that three-parter I was talking about, he also just has like, I don't know, he has level 7 mantras. Like, if you really look at it, he has Master's Flourish, he has Heavenly Wind, and it's just really cool to see because what's it called? Those are just powered up mantras that we have, but he's just on a whole nother level. On a side note, please never let level 7 mantras get added to the game, bro. Mage builds are already too strong. But besides the point, Maestro, he's just a really cool boss. He's fun to fight, and he has really good loot too. If you didn't know, he drops legendaries. The new legendary, the Wormtooth, I think it's called. It drops from Maestro, and I got it on my 5th try, so I'm not sure if it's really all that rare or not, but I don't know. You guys should try and get it. It's a pretty fun weapon to use, and it's really silly looking too. So yeah. And as you can see, 3-star damage, purple cloud. And I think I got like a 7 HP Maestro's ring. I'm not sure if that's that clip, but I definitely did get one today. And yeah, Maestro, he's just a good boss. Good loot. I don't know. Y'all gotta tap into the method, bro, before it gets patched or something. I doubt they would nerf the loot from Maestro though, because he is actually a pretty hard boss. But that's really it. I just wanted to let y'all know that Maestro, he's a really good boss, and I feel like we're probably gonna get more bosses modeled after him. And that Deepwoken PvE just needs to step up, bro, because as of right now, it's just really boring, and I think we can all agree that all the bosses just need like complete reworks. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Hope you guys have a great day or night. I'm gonna have a great night because I'm literally, if you couldn't tell, I'm tired as hell when I'm making this video. It's like 5 a.m. But I'm gonna see you guys later. Peace.